Ever wondered what happens when you just disappear from someone's life? I'm not talking about pulling back slightly. I mean completely vanish. No texts, no calls, no contact. What would they really feel when you're gone? In today's world where people constantly think they can take others for granted, let's flip the script, disappear, and I promise their world will fall apart. Welcome to the most important video you'll watch today. If you've ever been in a relationship or a situation where someone has gotten too comfortable with treating you like an option, this video is for you. We're talking about a powerful concept today, what they truly feel when you simply vanish from their life. We'll go over 9 intense emotional stages that they will go through when you disappear. And let me tell you, by the end of this video, you'll understand why sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to walk away and never look back. If you're ready to discover your worth, if you're ready to make them miss you like never before, drop a comment below with the words, "I'm done being an option," because by the end of this, you won't ever be one again. Stay tuned until the very end, because there's a bonus 10th emotional stage. They'll feel one you definitely don't want to miss. And if you're ready to change the way they see you forever, watch this video till the end. Now, let's get started. Number 1. The sting of rejection. This is where it all begins. They never expected you to vanish, not really. In their mind, you are always going to be there. You were the one who put in the effort, the one who made the plans, the one who cared. You were the person they could rely on until you weren't. When you disappear, it's like hitting them with a brick they never saw coming. You've probably heard the saying, "You never know what you have until it's gone." That's exactly what happens when you vanish. Let me make this clear. When you remove yourself from their life, it's not just about the physical absence. It's about pulling away everything that you represented, the comfort, the validation, the constant availability. They feel rejected, but it's not a surface-level rejection. It's a deep personal sting because for the first time they realize they don't have control over you. People don't like to admit it, but when they know someone will always be around, they start treating them like a safety net. You become an option, not a priority. When you vanish, you snatch that safety net right out from under them, and that's when the panic sets in. It's like free-falling. They thought they could take you for granted, and suddenly they're left wondering, how did I let this happen? How did I lose control? The sting of rejection hits especially hard when you've been emotionally available. They took your love and your presence as a given. They assumed you'd always be there no matter what they did. Maybe they even thought they were doing you a favor by keeping you around. That's the real irony. They think they're giving you crumbs, but in reality, you've been the one holding the relationship together. Here's what you need to understand. If you want to make them feel the sting of rejection, you can't give them any warning. Don't tell them you're leaving. Don't give them an ultimatum. And definitely don't ask for their attention. Just go. Ghost them. When you disappear without explanation, it hits harder because they never saw it coming. It forces them to reflect on their actions, but it also tells them loud and clear that you're done being disrespected. When you walk away, don't look back. They will feel the rejection, and trust me, it's going to hit them in ways they never expected. The person they thought they had control over, the one who always stuck around, no matter what, has just left the building. Let them deal with the aftermath. Number 2, the void of missing you. Here's where it gets interesting. After the sting of rejection settles in, they start feeling something else. Emptiness. They didn't think they'd miss you, did they? In fact, they probably convinced themselves that they wouldn't care if you left. Oh, if they leave, I'll just move on, they thought. But what happens when you actually disappear? They start to feel the void. And it's not just any void. It's the kind of emptiness that gnaws at them. They go through their day doing the same things they've always done. But something is missing. That's when they realize you were the one who added meaning to their life. You brought the energy, the warmth, the emotional stability, and now without you, everything feels bland. You see, when someone takes you for granted, they assume you're just a part of the background. They assume that the dynamic between the two of you is replaceable. But here's the truth. No one else brings what you did to their life. They might try to fill the void with someone else, but it's never the same. You brought a unique energy, one that made their life easier, more enjoyable, more fulfilling. The void grows bigger with every passing day. Maybe they thought they could distract themselves with someone new or with their friends. Maybe they thought they could focus on work or throw themselves into hobbies to get over you. But guess what? That void stays there, reminding them of what they've lost. It's a constant presence eating away at them because they never thought they'd feel this way about you. Here's the irony. They didn't appreciate you when they had you. They thought they could do better, or maybe they thought you'd always be around. But the second you leave, everything changes. They start missing the little things, the conversations, the laughs, the way you made them feel understood. It's the small, everyday moments that they suddenly crave, but you're not there to provide them anymore. When you disappear, make sure you do it in a way that leaves no room for them to find you. Block them on social media, delete their number, and make it impossible for them to casually check up on you. The more they realize they can't access you, the deeper that void becomes. Every time they think of you and try to reach out only to find no trace of you, the void will grow. Let them sit in that emptiness. And remember this, people don't appreciate what they have until it's gone. Let them miss you. Let them feel the absence. The more they feel that void, the more they'll start to understand what you brought to their life. Number 3, overwhelming curiosity. This is where the tables really start to turn. At first, when you disappear, there's rejection, maybe even some relief on their side. Then they begin to feel the absence, the void. But once that silence stretches just a little longer than they expected, here comes the next phase, overwhelming curiosity. And trust me, this stage is powerful, because women are wired for emotional intuition. They notice subtle changes in energy and patterns, and when a man who was once present, whether in conversation, in attention, or simply in energy, suddenly withdraws without warning, it gnaws at them. And that curiosity, it's not a soft whisper in the back of their mind. It starts to take over. Now here's what most guys don't realize. Curiosity is one of the strongest psychological triggers you can activate. Stronger than desire, stronger than attraction, even stronger than resentment. Because the human brain craves resolution. When there's a question mark, when the story feels unfinished, it drives us crazy. And when you disappear completely, when you give her nothing to hold on to, the mind starts spinning. What happened to him? Why hasn't he reached out? Did he meet someone new? Did I push him away? Is he really done? Notice something: this stage isn't about you sending any new signals. You're silent, you're gone. You're letting your absence do the work. But in that silence, she fills the space with her own thoughts, her own projections. And here's the kicker. The longer you stay quiet, the more powerful this curiosity grows. She starts looking for clues, checking your social media, asking mutual friends, going over old messages, replaying old conversations, trying to find something that will explain why you've gone dark. And this is exactly where your discipline pays off. Because the average guy, when he starts to feel her energy shift, when he notices she's getting curious, he jumps. He can't resist. He texts back, reaches out, tries to explain himself. And just like that, the power is gone. Because the curiosity collapses. She gets her answer. The tension breaks. But the man who stays disciplined, who lets the curiosity burn, who gives no new signals, who lets her imagination do all the work, that's the man who flips the dynamic completely. because now she's investing emotional energy in you. She's thinking about you more than she wants to. She's feeling that pull and wondering why she can't stop thinking about you. And this is why Stoicism is so key here. It's not about playing games, it's about self-mastery, the ability to hold the line, to resist the urge to chase. Because the truth is, when you disappear with calm, grounded energy, her curiosity will often pull her back toward you faster than any action you could take. Now, how can you tell when this stage is happening? You'll start noticing little signs. She watches your stories, but doesn't reach out. She likes old posts. You hear from mutual friends that she asked about you. Random check-ins. Hey, how have you been? But again, your move here is simple. Don't bite. Stay steady. Let her curiosity deepen, because the deeper it gets, the more powerful the shift in dynamic becomes. And when you finally do decide to engage, if you choose to, you'll do so from a place of strength, a place where she has invested far more emotional energy than you have, and that is where real power lies. Now, if you've seen this happen, if you've noticed how someone suddenly starts circling back when you go silent, drop a quick comment. I've seen this. And stay with me, because what we're about to cover next will show you how to stay grounded even when their curiosity starts pulling them back toward you. Number 4, deep self-reflection. This is where things start shifting beneath the surface, and most men don't even realize it's happening. When you've pulled away, when you've gone completely silent. After the initial sting of rejection, after the curiosity starts to build, something deeper happens. She enters a stage of deep self-reflection. And this is no small thing. Because here's the truth about human psychology, especially with women who are highly emotionally intuitive. When a man who once provided attention, presence, or connection suddenly disappears without drama, without explanation, it leaves a space, and nature abhors a vacuum. That space in her mind must be filled, and here's where it gets powerful. She fills that space not with your words, but with her own thoughts. She starts to analyze, what happened? Did I push him away? Did I take him for granted? Was I too harsh, too cold, too unavailable? And now the attention, the emotional energy, is no longer coming from you. It's being generated inside her, by her own mind. This is why Stoic philosophy is so key here. Epictetus taught, we cannot control others, only ourselves and our own responses. By removing your presence, you've removed any attempt to force her reflection. Instead, you create the space for her to choose to reflect. And trust me, when that space is empty long enough, she will. Now here's how it shows up in the real world. At first, she's annoyed, maybe even a little angry. He ghosted me, he's playing games. But days pass, then weeks, and she notices you're not chasing, you're not reacting, you're not feeding the cycle. And this triggers uncertainty. The longer you maintain this frame, the more she turns inward. She starts scrolling back through your old messages. She replays conversations in her head. Was I unfair? Did I lose a good man? She may even ask her friends for advice, but here's what's key. Every time she brings your name up, every time she revisits the situation, she's investing emotional energy back toward you, without you lifting a finger. And here's something you need to understand. This reflection can trigger genuine regret. Not all the time, but when it does, it's powerful. Because it forces her to confront truths about her own behavior, truths she may have denied when you were still around. Things like how she took you for granted, how she didn't appreciate your effort, how she let ego or pride push you away. And now in the silence, those realizations can land. But here's the danger point for many men. When they sense this reflection starting, when they see little signs, They break silence too soon. A harmless message, a comment on a story, a quick check-in, and just like that the reflection ends, because the space collapses. She's no longer sitting with her thoughts, she's reacting to you again, and the entire dynamic resets. But a man rooted in Stoicism understands patience is power. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, what feels like waiting is actually what's moving the dynamic forward. By doing nothing, you're allowing her to do the work. Her mind is making the emotional investment, and if you can hold that frame, you come out the other side stronger because you didn't need to chase. She came to her own understanding, and now the value has shifted. Now, if you've ever seen this happen, if you've seen a woman turn cold, then introspective after you pulled back, drop a quick comment, "I've seen this," and stay with me, because what we're about to cover next will show you how to stay unshaken when her reflection starts turning into action. Number 5. The urge to pursue you. Now this is where it really starts getting interesting, because up until now she's been dealing with rejection, the void of missing you, overwhelming curiosity, and her own self-reflection. And if you've held strong, if you've maintained your silence and kept your frame, you trigger something very powerful in her, the urge to pursue you. See, this is basic human psychology. When something or someone is easily available, the mind devalues it. But when it's scarce, when it's no longer certain, when you can't just have it whenever you want, that's when the mind starts to crave it. And this is exactly what happens when you disappear. You become scarce. You become a mystery. And that mystery fuels desire. Here's what you need to understand. For many women, pursuing a man is not always about genuine connection. It's often about regaining emotional control. When you were available, when you were always there, she knew exactly where she stood with you. But now you've removed that certainty. You've disrupted her emotional balance. And for a woman who's used to being pursued, who's used to being the one in control, this feels uncomfortable. She starts thinking, I need to know if I can still get his attention. Why is he not chasing me? Did he really move on? And that's when the urge kicks in. At first it may be subtle, a random text, a like on your post, a comment out of nowhere. But if you maintain your calm, it can escalate. Longer messages, more frequent contact, attempts to set up casual meetups. Why? Because she wants to re-establish that dynamic where she knew she could count on your attention. Now here's where most men go wrong. When they see this pursuit start, they reward it too early. They respond right away. They show excitement. They jump at the chance to re-engage. And what happens? The mystery disappears. The power shifts back. And she no longer needs to pursue because she's got what she wanted. But a man grounded in Stoic principles knows better. As Marcus Aurelius said, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. In other words, stay calm, stay centered. Just because she starts pursuing doesn't mean you must immediately respond. Your strength lies in holding the frame. Respond on your terms. Match her investment, but do not over-invest. Because here's what happens when you do this correctly, she continues, pursuing. Why? Because each time she gets a taste of your energy but not full access, the craving grows stronger. It flips the old dynamic on its head. She's now the one wondering, what is he thinking? Why isn't he responding faster? Is he really over me? And when a woman starts thinking this way, when she's pursuing you, not the other way around, the balance of power has shifted. Now you're the man of value, the one who's not easily won, the one she now respects perhaps more than she did when you were around. But this only works if you stay disciplined, if you break too early, If you fall into old patterns, the pursuit ends. But if you maintain your composure, you allow her to show you where she really stands. Now, if you've ever seen this happen, if you've experienced a woman starting to pursue you after you disappeared, drop a quick comment, "I've seen this." And stay with me, because what we're about to cover next will show you how to handle the internal battle she'll face between relief and regret. Number 6. The battle between relief and regret. Now, here's where things really start getting tangled up in her mind, and most men never even realize it. After you've gone silent, after you've held your ground and given her nothing to pull on, a new internal battle starts to form inside her, the battle between relief and regret. And let me explain why this is such an important phase to understand. At first, after you disappear, she may feel a bit of relief, especially if things were tense toward the end. She might think, well, maybe it's for the best. I needed space anyway. It's probably time to move on. That's the voice of pride. That's her ego trying to stabilize. But here's the catch. The ego can only hold that position for so long when curiosity is rising and self-reflection is kicking in, because underneath the surface, regret starts to creep in. She remembers the moments you showed up for her. She recalls your presence, your energy, the things you said and did, things she may have overlooked or undervalued at the time. And this is where the battle begins. Part of her wants to stay in that "I'm fine" space. The other part is starting to whisper, "Did I mess this up? Was he actually more valuable than I thought? Why can't I stop thinking about him?" It's a push-pull in her emotions, and it's uncomfortable. And the more uncomfortable it gets, the more her behavior starts to shift. You may start seeing odd signals. One day, she acts like she's totally fine posting happy, independent content. The next, she drops subtle hints that she's missing you. Why? Because she hasn't resolved the internal battle. Relief tells her to move on. Regret pulls her back toward you, toward what was lost. Now here's why your Stoic discipline is critical right here. Because this is the moment where most guys mess up. They see those mixed signals. Maybe she likes an old post, maybe she sends a casual text, and they take it as an opening. They think, she's coming back. I should reach out now. But here's what's really happening. She's not clear yet. She's still battling between relief and regret. And if you break silence too soon, if you try to help her resolve that battle, you rob her of the experience. She needs to feel both sides. She needs to process that regret deeply, because that's what will trigger genuine change, not surface-level curiosity. And this ties directly into the Stoic concept of apatheia, not apathy, but freedom from disturbance. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it." In other words, don't let her signals disturb your frame. Hold steady. Let the battle play out inside her, not inside you. Because when you do, and if regret wins out over relief, that's when her energy toward you shifts in a very real way. Not just a casual "hey," but a genuine pursuit. A desire to reconnect from her, not from you forcing it. And if regret doesn't win, if she resolves to move on, you still win because you stayed true to your value. You didn't chase, you didn't lower your frame. And that in itself is attractive. Now, if you've ever seen this in action, if you've experienced that hot and cold behavior while someone was stuck between relief and regret, drop a quick comment. I've seen this, and stick with me, because what we're about to cover next will show you how to navigate the next phase when she starts playing a whole new game. Number 7, the desire to play the game. By this point in the process, after you've gone silent and remained calm, she's already cycled through rejection, missing you, curiosity, deep self-reflection, and even the internal battle between relief and regret. And when a woman has sat in that emotional tension long enough, another urge begins to surface. It's not always pure regret. It's not always clear longing. Often, it's the desire to play the game. Why? Because by staying silent, by refusing to chase, you've quietly shifted the dynamic. You've taken back power. You've disrupted her emotional balance. And for many women, especially those who are used to holding the upper hand in relationships, this creates an itch they can't ignore, an urge to test you, to see if they can pull you back in, to prove to themselves that they can still influence you. Now, what does this actually look like in practice? You might see her suddenly post attention-grabbing photos, things she never used to post. Or she starts tagging herself in places where she knows you'll notice. She might mention other guys in passing almost too casually. Or send you a text like, "Remember, when we went to that one place, just thought of you," followed by nothing. She might even message your friends or like old posts of yours, hoping the news will get back to you. But here's the thing. None of these moves are about building genuine connection. They're designed to bait you, to test your frame, to see, will he take the bait? Will he break his silence? Is he still under my spell? And here's why many men fail at this point, because after holding frame for so long, after managing the silence, seeing these little signals, triggers hope. They think she's coming around. This is my chance. And so they reach out. They reply too quickly. They give away the power they've earned. But the Stoic man, the man who understands the deeper game, knows better. As Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. And in this dynamic, her games lie beyond your control. Your control is over yourself, over your frame, over whether you choose to react. And when you choose not to play, that's when the power of your silence deepens even further. Because here's what happens when she can't bait you. When her attempts to play the game fall flat, it creates frustration. But beneath that frustration, respect. Because deep down, even if she can't admit it, a woman respects the man who can't be easily swayed, who doesn't jump at the first hint of attention, who holds his own value no matter what games are being played. And that's when you truly stand apart, not as the man chasing, but as the man she can't figure out. And here's something else to remember. This phase, the desire to play the game, is often short-lived. If you don't react. Because when you refuse to engage, she's forced to confront a simple truth. You've changed. You're no longer predictable. And that's when curiosity and even genuine attraction can start to rebuild. But if you break frame here, if you respond too soon, all of that progress resets. So if you're seeing this right now, if you've noticed the games, the bait, the subtle tests, stay calm, stay grounded. And remember this, a man of value isn't moved by external games. He moves on his terms. Now, if you've ever been here, if you've experienced a woman trying to bait you back with little games, drop a quick comment. I've seen this. And stay with me, because next we'll talk about one of the most powerful forces at play when your silence starts carrying a weight she can't ignore. Number 8. The crushing weight of silence. There comes a point in this process where things shift dramatically. At first your silence was strange, then it became annoying, then confusing. But if you've held strong, kept calm, and remained disciplined, what happens next is different. Now she begins to feel it, the crushing weight of your silence. And no, this isn't just about missing you. This is something deeper. See, we all crave closure, an end to the story. It's basic human psychology. We hate unanswered questions, especially emotional ones. When you disappear and remain gone without explanation, without drama, her mind has nowhere to go but inward. At first, she told herself, he's being immature. He's trying to get my attention. I don't care. But the longer you remain silent, the harder it is to keep believing those stories. Now something heavier starts to creep in. Did I really lose him? Did I misread who he really is? Was he stronger than I thought? And it's not just about you anymore, it's about her. She starts questioning her own actions, her own value, her ability to read the situation. And this weight, it builds over time. Because unlike anger or games, silence has no counterattack. She can't fight it. She can't argue with it. There's nothing to react to. And this is exactly why Stoic detachment is so powerful here. As Epictetus taught, we suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgments about them. And your silence forces her to face her own judgments about you, about herself, about what really happened between you. It removes the comfort of, he'll come back or he's just like every other guy. Because you're not acting like every other guy. You're doing what few men can, holding your frame in complete stillness. And this creates tension she can't escape. You may notice it start to show in subtle ways. She becomes more visible online. She posts more selfies, more fun moments. She might suddenly like one of your old photos out of nowhere, or comment on something that has nothing to do with her. Why? Because the silence is now a presence filling her head, pulling her attention, and she's looking for some way, any way, to ease that weight. But here's where many men make a critical mistake. They think these small signs mean it's safe to reach out. It's not. Those signs are her trying to release the tension without giving you real clarity. And if you jump in too soon, if you reach out first, you relieve that tension for her. You make it easy again. The weight disappears, and with it so does her respect for your frame. The key is to do nothing. Let the weight remain. Let it grow, because eventually it forces one of two outcomes. She either chooses to step forward in a real way, ready to own her part, ready to reconnect, or she walks away. And either result is good for you, because you've proven to yourself and to her that you don't fear the silence. That's what makes a Stoic man powerful. His ability to sit with discomfort, to stay grounded when others would chase. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. Your soul is steady, your frame is strong, and her emotions, her struggles with your silence, are not your responsibility to fix. Now I'd love to know, have you ever seen this happen? Have you watched someone begin to feel the real weight of your silence after you stepped away? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm sure many of you will recognize this phase. And stick with me, because what happens next when that weight turns to fear can change the entire dynamic. Number 9. The fear that brings them crawling back. This is the phase where everything shifts. Up to this point, your silence has triggered all kinds of emotions: curiosity, regret, even frustration. She might have tried playing games to regain control, but once that didn't work, and you held your frame, the emotional weight of your absence started to build. Now comes the final turn: fear. Not just simple worry. I'm talking about the kind of fear that brings them crawling back. Because when a woman finally realizes that you're not playing games, that you're not chasing, that you've genuinely detached, that's when the fear hits her. I may have lost him for good. And that thought, it cuts deeper than anything that's happened so far. See, up until this moment, she always held on to the belief that if she wanted to, she could pull you back. That no matter how long it took, if she gave the right signals, you'd respond. But when you don't, when your silence remains consistent, that illusion dies. And what replaces it? Fear of loss. Fear that you've moved on. Fear that someone else now holds your attention, your time, your energy, your presence. And that's when the panic sets in. You'll often notice a sudden escalation in her actions. She reaches out directly in ways she never did before. Messages get longer, more emotional. She may even apologize something she swore she'd never do. Or she brings up past memories, trying to reawaken emotional connection. And this shift, it's not casual anymore. It's driven by real fear. Because in her mind, she's losing something valuable, not just the comfort of having you there, but the respect she now feels toward you. That respect didn't exist at the start. It was created through your discipline, through your refusal to fold. And this is why Stoic mastery is critical here. As Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Her mind is now running wild with imagined losses. She sees you moving on. She pictures you with another woman. She imagines you living your life content, unbothered without her. And that triggers a primal fear, one that overrides ego and pride. That's when she crawls back. Sometimes directly, "Hey, can we talk? I've been thinking about you a lot. I really miss what we had." Other times more subtly, a random check-in, a post aimed at pulling you back in, or an accidental run-in. But the motive is the same: fear. And here's where many men lose their ground. They confuse this fear with genuine readiness for a new connection. But fear alone is not enough. If you move too fast, if you jump at the first sign of her return, that fear dissipates. The power dynamic resets. She regains control, and you lose the respect you earned. The correct move: stay centered. Don't rush. Don't reward fear-driven behavior with immediate attention. Instead, let her actions prove themselves over time. If her pursuit remains consistent, genuine, and grounded, if she owns her role, if she approaches with humility, then and only then do you consider re-engaging. And if not, you remain steady, grounded in your own value. That's the Stoic path: indifference to flattery, calm in adversity, unmoved by fear or praise. Because a man who can remain grounded even when someone comes crawling back is a man who commands lasting respect. Now tell me, have you ever experienced this shift? Have you seen someone return driven not by love, but by the fear of losing you? If you have, I'd love to hear about it. Share your story below. Every man here can learn from it. And stay tuned, because what happens after this phase can define whether you build something stronger or walk away with even greater clarity. Number 10, the realization of emotional independence. And here we are, the final phase of this entire process. You've held your frame. You've remained silent. You've resisted the urge to chase. She's cycled through rejection, regret, curiosity, even fear. And now, if you've maintained discipline long enough, something different happens, not just for her, but more importantly, for you. You reach the realization of emotional independence. Now let's be clear, this is not about bitterness. It's not about pretending you don't care. It's about reaching a place where you no longer need this situation to resolve in any particular way, where your happiness, your peace, your sense of worth is no longer tied to what she does or doesn't do. And this is where real Stoic strength shines. As Epictetus taught, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. And what is more out of your control than another person's emotions? When you fully embrace this, when you stop needing her to respond, to return, to validate you, that's when you become truly free. Now here's what's fascinating. At this point, even if she comes crawling back, even if she offers everything you once thought you wanted, the dynamic has changed. Because now you no longer look at her through the old lens of neediness or lack. You see her clearly. You see the situation for what it is, with no illusion. You're able to ask yourself, is this really good for me? Does this actually serve my life and my purpose? Not, How can I win her back? That shift, that clarity, is the heart of emotional independence. And when you live from this place, everything changes. You no longer fear losing people. You no longer act from insecurity. You no longer tie your worth to someone else's attention. And ironically, this is the exact energy that attracts the right people into your life. Because the world respects the man who respects himself first, who does not compromise his peace for validation, who does not chase what he does not need. And here's the beauty of it. When you get here, you're free no matter what happens. If she returns, you're not desperate. You can engage with clarity on your terms. If she doesn't, you've already won, because you no longer tie your happiness to her. And this is what being a Stoic man is all about. Grounded, centered, unmoved by fleeting emotions. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This entire process has not been about her. It's been about you reclaiming your mind, your focus, your power. And when you truly embody this, the realization of emotional independence, it becomes the foundation for every other relationship you'll ever have. You attract not because you chase, but because you are whole. You don't seek to fill a void, you move from fullness. And that is the most attractive, most powerful place a man can live from. And that's the path, brother. When you reach true emotional independence, no one can shake you. No games, no silence, no rejection, because your peace comes from within. If this is the kind of mindset you want to keep building, if you want to stay sharp, grounded, and unshakable, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. And if you're ready to take it deeper, to join a community of Stoic men who live this every day, check out the members group. We've got real conversations, real tools, and everything you need to keep growing stronger. Thanks for watching today, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Stay sharp.